Hi, welcome to today's presentation. My name is John McCallig from the Accountancy subject area, and I'm joined today by Sean Power and Orla Wynne from the Smurfit School of Business. Sean is the director of the MACC program, and he'll be making a presentation about that program presently. We're just going to wait a second for everybody to enter the room. You can see that people are coming in now, and then we'll get started with the presentations in a minute. Okay, well, welcome again to everybody who's just entered the presentation. My name is John McCallig from the UCD Accountancy subject area. I'm the head of that area, and we're delighted that you can join us today for this presentation about our two master's programs. These are two great programs that I think are really developmental for people's skills. We're firstly going to have a presentation from Dr. Sean Power, who is the director of the Master of Accounting program. After that, I will make a presentation about the MSc in Accounting and Financial Management, and then we'll have some questions and answers. So thank you very much for joining us, and I'm now going to hand over to Sean, who is going to present on the MACC program.
Good afternoon. My name is Sean Power, and the purpose of this presentation is to provide you with more information on the Master of Accounting program, and also to address some frequently asked questions that we get from people who are considering applying to the program. A question I get asked quite frequently is, why chartered accountancy? Why should students consider pursuing a career in chartered accountancy? One important thing to point out is that when you complete a training contract, you don't necessarily have to be working in financial accounting or, say, auditing. There are a diverse range of roles that are available to complete your training contract. For example, you may work within audit, tax, corporate finance, and consulting. There is also an excellent training program in place. Once you graduate, you would commence a training contract with, say, a Big Four firm, and you would enroll on a professional training program. And once you complete that program and qualify as a chartered accountant, you have a very good core skill set. There are also a variety of opportunities once you qualify to work in both practice or in industry. And the chartered accountancy brand is well recognized by employers both nationally and internationally. And this leads on to the next point, which is that there are considerable opportunities to work abroad. There is international mobility with the qualification. And once you qualify, and particularly once you have a few years of post-qualification experience, the qualification does come with a good salary. Another question I get asked quite frequently is by students who are considering either taking the direct entry route, in other words, going directly into a training contract once they finish their undergraduate degree, versus the Master of Accounting route. Specifically, they're curious about the implications and the timing involved with the two options. This table provides you with a bit of information about the two routes towards becoming a chartered accountant. In this column, we have the direct entry route, where you would start a training contract immediately after finishing your undergraduate degree. If you take the direct entry route, you're required to complete a 3.5-year training contract. So timing-wise, you would finish up your undergraduate degree in 2021. You would commence a training contract with, say, a Big Four firm in September of 2021. You would then, if you have any outstanding Cap 1 examinations, you would write those outstanding exams in the first year after graduation. you would write your Cap 2 examinations in the second year after graduation, and in the third year, you would write your FAEs. That would mean you would finish up your training contract in year 4 in about March or April of 2025. In contrast, if you decide to go down the Master of Accounting route, you're only required to complete a 3-year training contract. So you would finish your undergraduate degree in 2021, you would enroll on the program in September 2021, and you would be enrolled during the 2021-2022 academic year. In the first year after you graduate, you have no professional examinations. So you have the time available to get used to your role without the added pressure of classes during the evenings or weekdays and on weekends and professional examinations. In the second year after you finish the MACC, you'll write your FAE examination. And in the third year, your training contract would finish in about September or October of 2025, which is only about 6 months later than your peers who may have selected the direct entry route. So why do the Master of Accounting? There are a number of benefits to doing the Master of Accounting, but I've just listed a few on the slide. First, as a result of globalization, the workforce is becoming more internationalized and more competitive. Having a postgraduate degree from a well-ranked international business school can help you to stand out from the crowd. 2 qualifications are better than 1. Having an undergraduate degree and a postgraduate degree on your CV can again help you to stand out. I'll also discuss FAE performance in a couple of slides' time, but graduates of the program tend to do very well on the FAE examination. There's also good work-life balance during this postgraduate year. There's a nice size class, typically between 30 and 50 students, and class reps are elected and arrange a variety of social events throughout the year. The program is also not just about technical skills. It's not just about getting those Cap 2 exemptions. We aim to produce well-rounded graduates, and we've structured the program to achieve this, and I'll discuss that structure in the next slide. The program is structured to produce well-rounded graduates, and what this means is that it's not just a focus on core technical skills or the equivalent of Cap 2s, but there are 3 pillars to the program. These pillars aim to develop well-rounded graduates. So the first half of the program focuses on the first pillar, which are technical skills. These would be the equivalent subjects to Cap 2. So you'll take modules in auditing, tax, financial reporting, management accounting, etc. In the second half of the program, we focus on developing broader business and personal competencies. And there are 2 aspects involved with this. First, analysis and synthesis skills. Under this pillar, you will take modules in integrative analysis. This involves working on case studies that are interdisciplinary in nature and require you to draw upon your knowledge from different subjects to address the case studies. Modules in business analysis and valuation, and modules in data analytics, where you get hands-on exposure to technology that is used in the accounting and auditing professions, and a better idea of how these technologies may impact the future of the professions. The third pillar to the program is the development of soft skills, such as critical thinking, negotiation, leadership, presentation, teamwork skills, for example. Under this pillar, you will take modules such as a professional development module. There's an optional consulting or capstone project available. There are also other optional modules over the summer term which aim to develop students' soft skill sets. Another question I get asked quite frequently is, how do students who choose the Master of Accounting route do on the FAE examination? And the answer is they do very well, typically. So I've got the pass rates for MACC graduates from Smurfit over the last number of years, but in the most recent sitting of the FAE, 98% of our graduates passed on first sitting. And historically, if you look at the pass rates, our graduates tend to do well above the national average pass rate. In addition, we frequently place, our graduates frequently place within the top 10 at the FAE examination. So in the most recent sitting, 3rd and 10th place went to graduates of the Master of Accounting program. And again, historically, we see our graduates frequently placing within the top 10. So some final points. What are the entry requirements? The minimum GPA requirement is a 3.3. In addition, you are required to have your Cap 1 exemptions. But if you don't have all of your Cap 1 exemptions, that's not a problem. You can still apply. For example, if you have company law and/or say tax outstanding, you can apply for the program. And if you meet the other entry requirements, we can give you conditional acceptance. You can write your outstanding Cap 1 exemptions over the summer before the start of the program. And once you pass those subjects, we can convert your conditional acceptance into full acceptance. There is a very good or a very nice sized class on the program. So it's typically between 30 and 50 students. And this facilitates a more personalized learning experience between the lecturers and the students. In addition, it's a good size for the class to get to know each other and to network within the class. We have an expert team of lecturers in place, both practitioners and also academic staff. And once you graduate from the program, you join an extensive network of alumni, many of whom lead extremely successful careers in practice and industry. So if you have any questions, you'll have the opportunity to ask those in a moment. But if you don't manage or you have a question after the session has ended, if it's an admissions related question, you can email the Smurfit admissions team, or if it's specific to the program, don't hesitate to send me an email. My email address is sean.power@ucd.ie. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sean. Thank you. So I'm now going to make a presentation about the MSc in Accounting and Financial Management. And after that, we'll take questions on both programs. So I'm going to share my screen now on that presentation. The MSc in Accounting and Financial Management is another master's program within the Smurfit School. It's slightly different to the MACC, but it still achieves much the same goals. So before I talk about the MSc in Accounting and Financial Management in detail, I just want to talk a little bit about an accounting qualification and what that can do for you. So you're sitting here, you're thinking about your options in the future. You'll be graduating probably during the summer, and you've got to think about next September, where are you going to be, and what are you going to be doing? And then the September after, what are you going to have achieved with that year? So an accounting qualification is something that I think you should really think about, because it really can be a huge development for your career. So the options with an accounting qualification job-wise are to be part of a finance team within a big company or a smaller company where you're actually internally part of the finance function. There's also the option of practice. That is where you work for an accounting services firm, and those, like the big four firms, are smaller accountancy services firms. Now the MACC is probably better set up for accounting practice, because you study subjects like auditing and taxation on that program. Finance, so this is in general finance, all kinds of financial jobs, financial analyst jobs, and jobs within banks and all those kind of jobs. And then lastly, consulting. So working with either maybe the consulting division of the Big Four or other smaller consulting firms. So what does the accounting qualification do for you? Well, it expands your career options. So you can think about other jobs that you might not be able to think about without an accountancy qualification. You can also enter the workplace at a higher level if you have an accounting qualification or you're part qualified for an accounting qualification. It is a long-term investment in your career. There's no two ways about this. This is going to take time and effort, but achieving it will hopefully really help you to achieve your career goals. Accountancy qualifications are generally, as Sean said in his presentation, quite internationally portable. So it means you can go abroad and spend some time abroad developing your skills in your career, and then come home later on if you want to, or you can take that qualification and move to another country. And it provides a clear path to faster career progression. So it's something nobody can argue with if you have an accounting qualification, that you have achieved a certain competency. And there are some jobs that are really only open to people with accountancy qualifications. So going back to our original question, you know, you're sitting here now and you're thinking about what you're going to do in September and then where you're going to be the following September. So like Sean, I want to let you know what you can achieve with this program. You're an undergraduate now, presumably, and you graduate at the end of 2021. You would do the MSc in the Smurfit School in 21-22. In 22-23, and this is the exciting bit, if you graduate from our program, you can almost immediately do the top level CIMA exams. You are exempt from all of the subjects in CIMA except the top level case study. And this means you can make a giant leap towards getting an accountancy qualification under your belt, you know, in September 2022. You still will have to do 2 years of work experience after that in order to fully qualify as a CIMA accountant, but you will have all your exams over with in 2022. And also you have to remember, if you've had jobs in the past that could qualify for work experience, or you've done a year-long internship that has a financial component, then you could take some time off that 2 years of work experience that you need after graduating. It's actually 3 years in total. So that's why what I think is the real, you know, advantage of this program. It gets you to an advanced stage in accountancy qualification very quickly. As Sean said in his presentation, salaries are attractive for accountants. You can see here from a salary survey from Brightwater, a newly qualified accountant about 50 to 58,000. So that is considerably higher than people without an accountancy qualification at that level of seniority or that level of time from their graduation. So why should you do the MSc? Well, firstly, in the same way as doing an MACC, it can future-proof your career with a master's from a top business school. So it's by itself, even without the CIMA qualification, it is a gold standard qualification from an international business school that is ranked and has accreditations from the best accreditation bodies in the world. So by itself, the master's degree is valuable. Secondly, it's a fast route to an accountancy qualification, CIMA, or we also have ACCA exemptions. They're not as extensive because you don't study tax or auditing on this program. You can develop your accounting and financial management skills. And I think it's very, very important to say that the emphasis in this program is on building your business skills. Because the CIMA qualification concentrates on management and technology and management accounting and making business decisions, this program also concentrates on those areas. So you develop real skills that will help you immediately in future employment. You learn in a university environment with great lectures and materials. So you're in university when you're doing most of your accountancy exams, which means that you have time to study for them properly. You're not rushing from work at home to do another 3-hour study. And that's a great advantage. And that's the same for the MACC, that you get an opportunity to absorb all this material in a proper learning environment rather than having to work and learn at the same time. This program is practice-based and career-focused. So the people we have teaching on this program are a mixture of academics and practitioners, and they are determined to teach a very relevant set of skills to our graduates so that it helps them directly with their careers. This is not an overly theoretical program. We make sure that you're well prepared for the workplace. And that's the last point, I guess, a significant focus on career skills. So the final points in this program, the GPA entry requirements are a 2-1 business degree, and applicants are required to have demonstrated strong academic ability in at least one accounting module and one finance module. So you need to have a business degree that has an accounting and finance component, and you have to have demonstrated strong ability in those components of your business degree. So this is not suitable, unfortunately, for people who don't have a business degree already. We have an expert team of lecturers, academic practitioners, and from industry. And there's an extensive network of alumni as well. Okay, so that's what I have to say about the program. If you're interested in the program, you can ask questions of us after this presentation. And if you've more questions, you can email smurfitadmissions@ucd.ie or email me directly, John McCallig @ucd.ie. So thank you very much for your attention. And Dr. Orla Wynne will now read out your questions to us, and myself and Sean will answer those questions. So thank you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Great, John. Thanks for that. We have some questions coming in. So one question asks, how many days a week does the full-time Masters in Accounting course run?
So that varies across the trimesters, but at a minimum, 3 full days a week.
And is that the case now as well, Sean, with online lectures?
It is, yeah. So at the moment, again, it varies, but at the moment, we've tried to keep the online schedule as close to the face-to-face schedule as we can.
Great. We have a general query. Do students have the opportunity to meet with employers over the course of the program? The program isn't specified whether it's the MACC or the financial accounting, financial management, but is there an opportunity for students to meet with employers over the course of the year?
Yes, there are career fairs directly organized in the Smurfit School and also through UCD more generally. And we have a careers service within Smurfit that can help with career-focused activities like writing CVs and interview skills and meeting employers. So there is a good deal of activity on the careers front in the Smurfit School.
Great. Another question regarding the Master of Accounting. Do you need a business degree for the Master of Accounting?
The requirement for the Master of Accounting is that you have all or almost all of your Cap 1 exemptions when applying. And the Cap 1 exemptions come from taking accounting related modules. So you would have a business degree with a sort of heavy accounting component, or you would have sat those Cap 1 examinations directly with the institute. But yeah, it's the equivalent. It's just an account. You would have taken accounting related modules in the past, enough to pick up most of your Cap 1 exemptions.
Great, thanks, John. A question here regarding the MSc in Accounting and Financial Management. Is there an internship which is part of the course in year 1 of study? So is there an internship?
No, there isn't an internship as part of the MSc.
Okay. A question from Connor. Could you go over some of the modules that are covered in the Accounting and Financial Management program?
The structure of the Accounting and Financial Management program, in the first semester, you do 2 accounting subjects. Those are a management accounting subject and a finance subject, and you do 2 management subjects, which are organization, behavior, and strategy. So it is a mixture between building accounting skills and building management and business skills. And then in the second semester, you do a module on financial accounting that Dr. Sean Power teaches. And you also do another management accounting module called Management Control Systems. You do a module on corporate governance and a module on risk management. Then in the summer term, the modules, there is one module that is required, which is kind of current issues module, and then you can choose some other modules in the summer term. So that's the structure of the program, and you can see that clearly and get more details on the Smurfit website under Curriculum and Learning section.
Great, thanks John for that. I have a question just regarding the alumni network for the Master of Accounting. Sean, you mentioned about the kind of the prestigious alumni that have gone on or that have completed the program. One question is, are there specific alumni events for Master of Accounting graduates?
So there is an alumni team at Smurfit, and they would sort of send out a newsletter occasionally, and I guess that query is probably best addressed at them because they would be responsible for organizing those activities.
Okay, great. There's a question from Steve for the MSc in Accounting and Financial Management. Is being part qualified in ACCA and CIMA preferred among the employers as opposed to a normal MSc?
Well, I guess that depends on the job and the career. I mean, obviously, if you are entering into a finance role in a company, then being part qualified in CIMA or ACCA is a big advantage, because the employer knows that you have a good deal of that education under your belt, and you can move on to other things. So for those kind of roles, yes, it is a big advantage. For some other career paths, you know, not really. So if you're planning a career that is going to require ultimately an accounting qualification, then getting as much of that education under your belt as quickly as possible is an advantage.
Thanks, John. I have a general query here about application deadlines. It doesn't specify for which program, so perhaps we could cover application deadlines for both of the programs.
Well, I think we accept applications on a rolling basis, and the best thing to do is to apply as soon as possible. You'd have to check with Smurfit Admissions as to when the cutoff date for applications is. It would be in late spring, I think, or yeah.
And that's the same for the Master of Accounting, Sean, correct? The rolling application.
It is, yeah. So I would encourage people to get their applications in as soon as possible, but it is on a rolling basis.
Great. I have another question regarding the Master of Accounting. What kind of organizations do the MACC students work with on the Capstone project?
So it varies each year slightly, but historically there's been large public transport organizations. They've worked with digital startups. So each year it varies a bit, but there's a mix of different companies that usually participate.
Great. I have another question about the Master of Accounting. Is the program suitable for international students?
So it is suitable for international students. The only issue that would need to be addressed is the Cap 1 exemption. So you would have to, if you have an undergraduate degree from an international institution, you would have to apply to get that assessed by Chartered Accountants Ireland, who would then award Cap 1 exemptions. And you would have to sort of resolve your Cap 1 exemption position before being admitted onto the program. So it is possible. We do have international students on the program, and we have had regularly in the past, but you would have to look at having your degree assessed by Chartered Accountants Ireland.
Great. We have one final question here. Do many students commute for master programs? I presume that's the case for most students.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I certainly have known students who commute from, places like Navan and Wicklow and Arklow and even Kilkenny sometimes. So students do commute, but I think it has to be borne in mind that these are both full-time programs. So, you would want to have a commute that was manageable to do that. Obviously, at the moment, the students are online, so students are studying all over the country at the moment for these programs.
Thanks, John. And just to say, I know we've had some specific questions about things like application deadlines and admissions. So just to say to anyone who's joining us today that there is a more general admissions session on this afternoon at 4:30. So it might be a good opportunity, if anybody wanted to join that as well, just to ask more specific application type queries. Our admissions team will be on hand then. We have one more question coming in. So for the MSc in Accounting and Financial Management, just in terms of the subjects that are listed on the website in the summer trimester, there are 2 subjects within option modules titled TBC. When will this be finalized?
Essentially, the summer term, we put together the summer program usually in the springtime, and those modules are generally drawn from finance and management and other disciplines within the Smurfit School. So it's different each year what is offered in the summer term. But there's always good things to choose from there if you're interested in finance, or if you're interested in the more management side or technology side. There's always a wide range. It's a big school, and I mean it's probably the biggest graduate school in Ireland. So we do have the scale to offer a wide range of subjects, and this is really to the benefit of students. that they can choose at that stage in their program to do something a little bit different.
Great, thanks, John. I think that completes the questions that have come in. And just to clarify, sorry, that general admission session is actually on at 4:45 this afternoon, not 4:30. So there's a link on the main event page for that if anyone wants to join. So if there's no other questions, I'll hand over to you, John, if you want to make any final closing remarks.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, and thank you for your interest in our programs. And we would hope to see some of you at least applying for the programs in the next couple of months. And if you need more information on the more academic side rather than admissions, then myself and Sean are available. You can look us up on the website. Our emails are fairly straightforward, john.mccallig@ucd.ie and sean.power@ucd.ie. And you can email us directly about it as well. So thank you very much for joining us, and have a nice afternoon. Bye.